I delivered newspapers. And so at least one day a week on Sunday, I would basically show up Saturday night at 3 a.m.
Right.
Because I would deliver Sunday papers, and the Sunday papers it was a huge you could flip the top.
Oh, I forgot to flip the top.
Flip the top, and then hit the button. There you go. Hit it again. There you go.
All right.
And so I was all fucked up from that. I would get up every day at 5 o'clock in the morning, normally to deliver papers because I had a large route.
Yeah.
It was my way to make money without having to do a job where I had to listen to anybody.
It's also a perfect example of a kind of job where you always know how you're doing while you're doing it. Like lots and lots of little visual, undeniable cues, right? You got your bags or your baskets full of paper or your car or whatever you were doing.
I was in a car.
You're tossing them out one at a time.
Yep.
You know, you're making progress. You know the progress you're making as you make it.
Right.
You know, it's...
You know you only have 120 houses to go.
That's right. And then it's 110. And then it's like...
People let's go to Dunkin' Donuts, get yourself a nice donut and a coffee, reward yourself, day's over. Yeah. My day would be done work-wise by, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. on a Sunday. 9 was rough.
Yeah.
Occasionally, they would make enormous Sunday papers. They'd have and that would be a real problem because you'd have to make multiple trips. And I bought a van, so I had a big cargo van. And I drove that around to deliver newspapers for a while. That made it a lot easier because I could stack 350 Sunday papers in the back of that van.
But see, you remember and you knew. 350, that's an interesting number.
I had bigger routes, but 350 was manageable.
How old were you?
I started when I was just driving. So I was in high school still, so I think I started delivering papers when I was 17 or 18, whatever legal age they allow you to do it.
Yeah.
So it was probably 17 or 18. I started driving, and I drove till I was 22. I just started doing stand-up comedy. I drove all throughout my competitive martial arts career. I drove in the morning. It was good because it gave me discipline. Because I had to do it 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You did not take any days off. It didn't matter if it snowed or rained or fucking frozen rain on the streets, black ice. Didn't matter. You got to deliver newspapers. And if they did delay it, it would delay your delivery of the paper. So you'd have to call the depot. Hey, are we delivering yet? Because they didn't want to be responsible if it was a blizzard for people dying and get lawsuits. So they didn't make you deliver papers if it was unbelievably bad out. But for the most part, you drove every day.
So you had a sense of consequence too.
Yes.
Like you
discipline, consequence. You didn't deliver the papers. You didn't get paid. It was very simple. It was a very simple job. You would show. I don't even remember how they trained us. I think that maybe they trained us for like one day. You were taught how to fold the paper. 1, 2, stuff it in the bag. You had plastic bags were great because you could chuck them out the window and it never damaged the paper. Rubber bands were a real pain in the ass because you could hit a corner on the concrete, it would rip the corner of the paper, and then the customer would complain because they're trying to read about what's going on in Syria, and then there's this fucking broken piece of paper. I delivered the New York Times only because it was cool. Like I delivered the Boston Globe because that was the biggest distribution. Like I could get the biggest route. And then the Boston Herald because I wanted more papers to deliver, so I would do 2 papers. And then the New York Times. The New York Times is a pain in the ass because it would be like 1 every 10 blocks. You'd have an enormous route. If you had 150 New York Times, that's an all-day excursion.
Did you start to equate the type of home you were delivering, the type of paper to?
Oh, yes. The New York Times people took themselves very seriously. They were very serious people. They would ask me what I'm doing with my life. I remember this lady. I was taking courses at Boston University just so people wouldn't think I was a loser. That was literally the only reason why I was going to college. And she's asking me, I was like, what are you planning on doing with your career? I'm like, I have no idea. And she didn't like it. She didn't like that I had no idea.
Yeah, it makes people uncomfortable.
She liked me, but she didn't like that I had no idea. She was like very motherly to me, I guess.